What's up, Victoria? It's Victoria, and today on Instagram, I posted a little poll with some items from my testing drawer of makeup, just to see what people would be interested in seeing either again or for the first time on my face. But I was just trying to gauge like what people were interested in. There's a lot of makeup in my testing drawer, and it's like hard to know what people would like to see featured again, or give myself an opportunity to like talk about it on camera with you. There are some like plans to do some like PR and stuff I bought for review roundups to just really kind of give you like my final opinion on them. I just don't feel ready to do that yet with some items or enough items to like do a full video on it. So that's why I haven't done that yet, but it's on the docket. We'll start with eyeshadow today. I asked if people wanted me to use the Bella Beauté Bar Realm of Fairies palette, the Glaminatrix Elegant Eyes palette, the Fantasy Cosmetica Fighter palette, or the Trixie Cosmetics Après Ski single eyeshadow. Kind of threw myself a bone there at the end with the Après Ski shadow. I knew that was probably not going to win, but I was like, well, maybe. The winner was actually the Fantasy Cosmetica Fighter palette. Now, I will be honest with you, this palette I have not used a lot. The grays in here are a little more like green-ish leaning, green-blue leaning, rather than just like a gray. And I do prefer a purple gray if I'm gonna wear a gray. And I actually don't really quite know what to make of the warm with the cool. Sometimes I like that, and there are a lot of products I have that have both of those aspects in them. Playing with them together on my eyes is like not something I really do very often. My friend Nooper, she did a video all about this. Not with this palette, but with like mixing cool tones and warm tones. I'll link that video in the description box down below if you want to go watch that. Today, I actually just kind of want to play with this row right here. The only couple times I've used it, I've used the gray shades. I'm going to prime real quick. I know I did this on Instagram, so not everyone has Instagram, wants to follow me on Instagram. So I think that next time I do this, I like thought about doing like a makeup inventory video this year. I know that that's a really popular thing for a lot of other people to do. Sometimes whenever there's something like that exists in the beauty space where it's like people do this thing, if I do it, I want to know what like my take on it is. And I like really don't know that I have a take on like makeup inventory, because a lot of people are just kind of like counting and then reflecting on how much makeup they either decluttered or gained throughout the year. And I feel like a lot of my other content really revolves around a similar idea without like explicitly doing numbers. Anyway, all of this being said, I think I might take inventory of my makeup collection and then do like a big pull with this. This will be my permanent collection, not the new stuff, which I talked about today. Because today, with the Instagram, I gave 4 options for each thing, and it kind of gave me control over what I might be interested in playing with myself and then providing that option for you. The only thing that gets messy whenever you start doing that is that will everything go together? I think today we can make a very cohesive look. That's something I'm keeping in mind if I ever like do a style video like this again. Let's get into this eyeshadow palette. So I think I'm going to start with the shade Valor, which is like this beautiful mustardy color. I haven't played with a color like this in quite some time. If you've been here long enough, you know that this used to be a very standard shade of eyeshadow that I was like, mustard is neutral. It was a shade I put on my eyes a lot. I didn't think it was actually neutral, but you know what I mean? Like the kind of concept of like, I'll wear this whenever, wherever. Try to use it as a transition. We'll see how pigmented it is. And like, I don't feel like I'm an authority to speak on the formulas in here at all yet. My eyes don't get drawn to it whenever I look and I want to play with some of the new makeup to me. I think that might just be like a packaging thing, because like that's not really my thing. And I don't know that I'm like fully in love with this color story either. I see the front of this and I'm like, do I really want to play with that today? And it's not that I've ever had like a bad experience using it. There's just other things in my makeup drawer that catch my attention. When I review makeup, I really think about and try to talk about it just like in my experience. And I also like to reflect on like what would be a good purchase for me. And oftentimes things I don't reach for very regularly, things that don't draw me to that drawer to use them. It's not that I would review them poorly if the product is good, but like part of the aspect of the review is like how much did I want to use it based on the color story or whatever. And so I'll tell you that this right now in my testing drawer has a pretty low use value to me, because it's just like I don't really want to use that ever. I thought that yellow applied really pretty and it looks really good. It's nice, yucky, a very good yucky yellow. So it's not like I have complaints about it. I am working on being like a little less stingy about like my packaging preferences, and focusing more on formula is not something I'm great at yet, but with how I'm using my blushes in my personal collection, it is like helping me to like open my eyes. And I also think getting to try a little more CoverGirl stuff is also helping me be a little more like open to using more things that are in packaging that I don't find covetable or desirable, especially if ultimately, if I get to the point where like I am depotting a lot of my makeup and that's how I keep my makeup collection, why would it matter at all what it's packaged in? Someone asked me in a comment recently, like, do I still care about packaging? Like, the unfortunate thing is, like, I still am more attracted to like what's being sold. And that's like also part of the marketing of high-end makeup. It's like selling you a fantasy. Would we say that drugstore is selling us a fantasy? Because I'm not sure that I would say that. All of my brushes are dirty right now. I haven't used this one. It's not a brush that normally goes unnoticed in my makeup collection, so we're gonna use it right now. This is the shade, I almost said Marital, Marshall. It's this brown. Also, something I've been trying to do this year as well when I'm buying things to review. I do want to buy things that I want to use a lot because it helps me want to try them to be able to get reviews out, not fast, but like faster, because it's like, if I'm like intrigued by it enough to keep using it, even if it is bad, like if there's something that calls to me about it, like a shade or a texture or something, I'll be more likely to like try to make it work. I think a really good example of this right now would be the Dior foundation stick, where it's like not really working well for me, but I'm like compelled to use it a lot. Like I've used it a couple times on camera. I've been using it a lot in my personal time or when I've been taking photos. Like I've been thinking about it a lot, even though there are foundations that are in that drawer next to it that are much better. But like there's something about it that calls to me in a different way. But also another thing I'm trying to do is play with looks again in a way that I haven't really in a few years. Like every now and then I'll throw on a look. I feel like when people are newer to my channel and kind of only know me for like doing makeup that would be really easy for them to replicate, and then I like do graphic liner or whatever, and people see it on Instagram, or I've like done my look before I've jumped on camera to do like a commentary thing. It's like people are always like, you can do that? And I'm like, yeah, I can. But it's just like, but I don't know. I feel like there was a time in my life where I used to like sit down to do wow, I have a lot to say. I like really have been in the mood to film. I think the last time I filmed was like about a week ago. Like it's actually been really it's been just like tough for me to like getting time to film. But now I'm sitting here and I'm talking. Anyway, I used to, whenever I was really first into makeup, I used to give myself like 2 hours to get ready. And I would do like these really bold and intense looks. And like that was like very much what I was into. And now if I'm getting ready to like see a friend, I will give myself 30 minutes at like, that will be like what I try to give myself in the roundup of time. And if I'm doing like a more intense, like I might give myself like 45 minutes to really sit and like marinate and play in makeup. It's not how I do my makeup a lot of time. I've just been inspired to try new things. I also think there's a little bit of that thing in me that has bubbled up again recently in my life where I'm feeling incompetent about my skills as a makeup artist and a makeup reviewer. And like, I don't know where it came from. It's not really like something that happens all the time to me, but I feel like it's been happening to me recently. And it's like, I really want to do like some looks, you know? I feel like these colors are blending okay into each other. I'm going in back with the brush that I used the yellow shade on. It's perfectly blendable, but it's not like, it took a little work. It took a little more work than I'm accustomed to, but that's probably just like due to the mustard shade. I might use a little bit of this red shade called Fervor, but I do think I'm going to use mostly the shade Victory all over my eyes, which is like a very uncommon kind of color for me to use. So I'm going to use the Pixie Epoxy from Farinay. I'm just going to put a little bit on the inner corner of my eye. I find with this, I'm like still relatively new to this product. It's again, everything with me is like on the eyes. It's like the thinner, the better. It just feels like if I put too much of it on, it becomes slippery, which is like not the point of a glitter glue. And so then I've just kind of found that I get a much better application whenever I like tap it out a bit and I wait for it to get a little bit tacky to touch before I apply. That's really pretty. Definitely swatched the shade before, but this is kind of like a running theme in this palette is that like everything has a little bit of like blue silver sparkle in it, even the warmer shades, like this shade and the red shade. It's not like the dominant sparkle, but there is a little bit of that in there. And it kind of ties it to like the blue side of the palette, which I think is really great. But again, it's not like in my comfort zone. I do need to do a smoky eye with this shade Might all over my eye at some point. I haven't done that yet, but I think I would really like that. I think I'll try that. I'm gonna go into the red shade a little bit, and I do want to deepen out this. Didn't really like deepen it as much as I wanted to. This is also not very deep. Now that I'm applying it, it looks really intense in the palette. On my eye, at least, with the, I mean, I'm not really applying too much of it. On my eye, at least, it's kind of like the same level of depth as that orange shade I just put on my eye. Can you even really tell? I'm not really sure what to do. So I do want to deepen it out. I can try, I'll try going into the shade Might. I don't want like a winged look like is what I usually do. I just want something dark out here to like register. I could use a liner. Kind of feeling like, to me, okay, maybe we're getting somewhere here. To me, I feel like these shimmers aren't loving being layered. And not everyone does this. Like some people would just put that orange shade on their lid and be like, great. Or they've added depth with a matte. But sometimes layering shimmers is like a way to get some very cool, interesting depth in a different way. I think that helped a little bit, but just like not as much as I was expecting. While I'm doing this application, there's like a lot of light hitting me right now. And all of these shades are reflective. And so they're reflecting back. And I can't, yeah, that added the depth I wanted. Because now I'm seeing it from a different angle where the light isn't coming from down here, and it is adding the depth. But it's not, when I said that they weren't layering well, it doesn't mean that they were like blending away. I just feel like, I don't know, they were very close in tonal value in some way. Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see in editing, because sometimes editing tells the real truth. It's like I see one thing in real life, I see a different thing in the monitor, and then like on the computer, it's like also a third different story. It's like, what is the truth, Ellen? Okay, I'm gonna do that to the other eye. Here's a little media recommendation. I recommended this on Instagram. I'm gonna recommend it here, and some of you will be familiar with this if you are interested in. And no, it's not Severance related, because I know that some of you know that I watched that show. I kind of wait with bated breath on my opinion on it, which I think is so funny, because I feel like as a reviewer of media, I'm not very like astute. I'm not promising this as content, but I think when this season's over, I might do a season recap while I apply makeup. So if you're not watching Severance and you would like to watch that video and understand what's going on, get caught up, and then maybe we'll talk about doing that again when the season's over. But we're kind of approaching the end of the season, but I will need to watch it again. When I was watching the first season of it, I watched it 2 or 3 times through the first time. I should have rewatched the first season before jumping into the second one, but at the beginning of this season, they did have one of those like last season on, and it was like 20 minutes long, and I was like, okay, that's good. Although I would love to watch the first season again. So if you're needing some like tee-hee ha-has and you like improv comedy, may I recommend Dropout? So I was talking about this specific clip from Whose Line Is It Anyway? And if you're familiar with the show, the clip was them singing the Irish drinking song, which they typically did at the end of the episode after somebody like won the episode, and they would, you know, make up this song as they went, and like each person did it like line by line. Anyway, it's a very funny clip. It's like something that I come back to a lot when I need a little laugh. So if you liked Whose Line, and it reminded me of a thing that I'm currently watching. So Whose Line Is It Anyway? It was like this improv show with like 4 comedians, and they would do like a thing. There's this show called Make Some Noise, which is on Dropout TV, which I'm not being sponsored by saying this. This is like just a genuine recommendation. Dropout used to be College Humor. If you remember College Humor, like it's now Dropout, and there was like a whole anyway, we don't need to get into all of the things. Like I've been very invested in like what's going on in Dropout. So it's now a personal goal of mine to end up as a contestant on a Dropout show, even though I'm not a comedian, but like I think I could do it. So if we could get Sam Reich, my information, if they could just bring me to LA for one time. I want to be on the show Make Some Noise. Make Some Noise is the show that reminds me of Whose Line Is It Anyway? But there's a lot of shows on Dropout TV. But if you liked Whose Line Is It Anyway? Check out Make Some Noise. Now, some people were trying to say, well, also Game Changer is like Whose Line Is It Anyway? I disagree. Game Changer is very fun. There are moments of it that feel like Whose Line, but Make Some Noise is like Whose Line, but just like modern, and like it's a little bit different. Like, and I recommend it. I recommend it so much. It's been so fun. So me and Tiff have been watching Dropout television in the evening, and we have just been tee-hee-ing. It's so much fun. So I recommend it. If I don't remember to do this, please remind me, but I will try to link down below in the section that's like people, places, things I've mentioned. There's some free episodes on YouTube. I'm subscribed to them through their app. So please check it out if you need a good laugh and you liked Whose Line Is It Anyway and you like kind of miss it. I'm gonna line my eyes and also put on mascara real quick. I just put a little bit of Cocoa from Victoria Beckham in my waterline and tightlined with it. And I used the e.l.f. Lash Extender as my mascara today. It also behaved a little bit weird, but I might be approaching like the end of 3 months with this mascara. So that makes sense. So I didn't put concealer as an option. I don't have a ton of concealer I'm testing, which is honestly so okay by me. I really like the way this applied whenever I used it in my last video. The thing I didn't love is it creased really quickly, and that is really annoying to me. And that is one thing that the concealers that I really have been enjoying recently, like the one from Ritual Defeat and the one from Victoria Beckham, both behave really well in that aspect. Like they don't really crease too much under my eye, but this one creases a little bit. And it bothers me whenever I get to do my thumbnail and I find a crease under my eye. It just really bothers me. I'm gonna set that real quick to hopefully help avoid that from happening. I just used a little tape to clean off the sparkles, which is great because I didn't apply any primer yet, and so it kind of came off very easily. I didn't go for the parts where I applied concealer already. So there is a little bit of glitter under my eyes, but this concealer doesn't have that, in case you were wondering. The glitter particles in this eyeshadow that I'm wearing are these eyeshadows that I'm wearing, and I also layered the shimmer on top of shimmer, so that probably is what caused the fallout. The shimmers are so small that my eyes like weren't catching them until I got really close to my face, which is so rare because like I usually I'm just a purveyor of chunky glitters these days. It's my preferred. My friend Andromeda sent this over to me. It's not a perfect match for them. Actually, they're the one who told me that this was better than the Lisa Eldridge skin tint. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not really trying to make a declarative decision on that today. They sent me the shade 3, which I think they said was a little bit too pink and a little bit too dark for them, which sounds right up my alley. I think the shade will work, especially if it is in fact a tint, but it looks a little dark in the first swatch, just a little bit. I have swatched this in store before. I feel like it has a really luminous finish compared to the Lisa Eldridge. It has a much more like skin finish, so I can be into that. We'll see what happens. It looks on the back of my hand very blurring now that it's been worked into the skin. I'm gonna apply it with this brush. I might switch to my fingers right away. If I'm comparing it to the Lisa Eldridge skin tint, this has much less coverage. The Lisa Eldridge skin tint, I think, is a medium coverage foundation disguised as a skin tint. It has a nice finish to it. No smell, but I don't think Hourglass stuff is usually. Okay, that's really actually quite lovely. I think it's a good match. I think it'll work. I gotta tell you, my skin has been like really mad at me. I have like 2 ingrowns. I have like one right here and then I have this painful one right there. It's like not my favorite. I don't go at my ingrowns. No, I don't have it to do. Wow. I've been trying to make that Dior foundation work so hard, and then I didn't apply any primer for this. And I just feel like, look at how beautiful it looks. And this really is a tint. I was able to build it up a little bit because the concealer I applied looked too high coverage versus the first application of it. So I feel like it evened out my redness a little bit, but like didn't really apply a lot of coverage. I can still see things through it. So not gonna be for people who are like looking for coverage, but I just doubt that anyone who is looking for coverage is buying anything with the word tint in it. Wow, wow, it's so nice to just put something on that works. I'm not sure it's my favorite. I have been favoring a more skin finish with a concentration of glow on my cheek recently, where there was a time where I really loved an all over dewy look, but we'll see. We'll give this side time to set, but I really like it. It's from their Veil line. That makes sense. I do find that the Veil stuff tends to work for me a little bit better than the stuff that is like the ambient. The ambient stuff ends up looking really heavy on my skin. I also, for a while in my career as a person who has been into makeup, was using the Veil primer. Although I don't know if I've ever tried another Veil complexion product. Do they have a Veil concealer, or is the concealer ambient? So it does look like it has like that more luminous finish. It does seem to need to be set. The side of my face has been sitting for a little bit longer. If you have really dry skin, you probably wouldn't need to set it, but on my skin, I'm gonna need to set it because I was able to like kind of rub it off with my finger and it came off right away. That'll bother some people, it won't bother other people, or perhaps just some of it's sitting on my skin. I'll go in with a little bit of a denser brush and kind of just pat it into the skin, see if that changes anything. I know some people like to like finish off with a sponge to pull off excess product. I don't know. I don't dislike using a sponge. I dislike the activity of like always cleaning my sponge. So I feel like this has like a nice glowy finish. Doesn't feel like too much. I mean, unless you really don't like that look. But I wouldn't say it's like the glowiest thing I've ever put on my skin. It kind of almost looks like if I took a pigmented foundation and I mixed it with Glow Lust. This is what it would look like. I'm not sure I love it more than the Lisa Eldridge so far, but I do really like it. I'm gonna contour really quick and then we will get to bronzer. So I haven't powdered or anything yet, and just my pores look really good with this foundation, which I think is great. I literally have been struggling with that Dior foundation, and it's just like, wow, how nice. I put out a couple different bronzers for people to vote on, and I put both Trixie bronzers I have, and I also put the Mob one and the one from Auric. And kind of, not like overwhelmingly, but by a large margin, the one from Mob, this is the cream bronzer in M81, and I'm not really sure why. My thought is like, I don't really understand why, because I just did like a dedicated video to Mob. I like the color of it, I like the texture of it, I like the way it applies to my skin. I don't know that I have much more to say about it though. Really easy to use, really hard to mess up. But I'm wondering if people want me to apply Mob more on camera, since it was kind of like in that being used like behind the scenes as opposed to on camera regularly. And a lot of the stuff that I use on my channel, because I'm not always doing dedicated reviews, a lot of the stuff that I use on my channel kind of gets featured as much as I can feature it, whether or not I'm applying it on camera. I try to like get it on my face as much as I can for us all to see me apply it in real time. So there it is. Just a soft bronze. It's not really going to be the star of the show because I feel like the next product is going to be the star of the show, but that was Mob M80. And if you missed my Mob brand review, may I put you that direction. And it is chaptered out in case you were only interested in like one specific thing. I guess the blurring blot balm, a lot of people didn't know about, and I only knew about it because Andromeda. I wouldn't have known otherwise, but I guess the product's been out of stock, and I guess not a lot of people talked about it. I don't know if I was really following the brand at the time that I bought it. I followed them like a little bit later. Okay, now we have another first impression. So for blushes, I put out a couple of different options for people to vote on, and I put a couple of blushes from Glaminatrix, which Glaminatrix sent me a PR package recently, and they sent me a ton of goodies, but I haven't used any of them on camera yet, so I threw them a couple of them into the mix. Cult Classic from Trixie Cosmetics. I don't even remember what the last option was. Maybe I'll look at my notes. Oh, okay. The last one was this blush from Chantecaille that like I decluttered it and someone took it, and then I got it back. So, and then I really liked it, and it was like, it's a colorful blush. So I'm kind of glad that one didn't win. But the one that did win is this from Glaminatrix. This was sent in PR. They sent me a ton of stuff. Do you want a Glaminatrix dedicated video, or do you want me to just like work them into this kind of video over time where like you just see me using it and then you can kind of go from there? Let me know. Like, I'm genuinely asking because I haven't really figured out what I want to do because they sent so much, and like I would like to do something with the content, but I can make like dedicated shorts to them too. It doesn't need to be like a dedicated long form video, but let me know your thoughts. They sent me the 4 mini palettes that they released late last year, and they sent me, I think, all of their blushes except for the new blushes that they just released. So I have like a lot of their blushes. I have so many blushes from Glaminatrix right now. I got my hair cut yesterday. I don't always feel compelled to wash my hair right after I get my hair cut because you get your hair, sometimes you get your hair washed there, but like it doesn't bother me until I start putting on makeup. And now I feel like I'm covered in hair, except before I filmed this video, I was perfectly comfortable, but now I just feel like I'm covered in hair. And I feel like I'm always just like covered in hair. This is the shade Mocha Mousse, and this is in their cream and powder blush. So the cream blush is on top and then the powder blush is on the bottom. Did I say muted mocha or Mocha Mousse? Because I've been also toying with throwing my hat in the ring for a Mocha Mousse video. But Hindash did one, Ivy did one. What am I adding to the conversation? It doesn't have a flap for the cream. I don't know if that bothers me too much. Something like this would not normally catch my eye. In fact, I remember when they released these blushes, I was like, do I care about that? Because Patrick Ta ones never caught my eye. The one size ones never caught my eye. So like, I don't know. I was never just really drawn to this kind of like powder blush format. I'm going to do it with the powder on top of the cream. I know that Patrick Ta's are designed to be different. I don't know what Glaminatrix's opinion is. But this seems like it'll be pretty buildable. I just loaded up my brush and I just pounced on the back of my hand just to see what I'm working with. I really like that color. Let's see. It's not my usual color, but look at that. I'm not sure what the finish of this would be without the glowiness that I have going on underneath it, but like it's meeting at least the skin tint where it's at. Wow, that's not a color I'm usually interested in these days, but like, I really like it. I like the way it's like, I keep looking at myself in the monitor like, wow, I'm really liking the way I'm looking today. I'm not going to apply anymore because I'm going to put the powder on top, and just note the pigmentation now. So whenever we get to putting the powder on top, cream blush longevity, I don't know that it really super matters to me. I guess I really care more about the application process. Whenever I'm testing makeup, like hardcore for like a video like dedicated to testing something, I do like wear tests and stuff. I don't know. I'm at a weird place in my life, but also things that tend to like not last super long look the best up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. They look really great up top. I'm going to quickly apply the highlighter from the Décolleté palette. And it's a really natural looking highlight, so I think it will be fine to put on top of here. And it's not really even much of a highlight at all, but it just looks really good. The Victorias really did me right. It was funny because I posted on my community tab, or the posts tab is now what it's called. And I was like, this is what I'm doing on Instagram. And some people were like, I'm not on Instagram, but I trust the Victorias. In the Victorias, we do trust. I'm going to powder my face, and then we will apply the powder blush on top. The skin tint took really well to powder. I feel like it mattified it like just a little bit, but still looks really good. I did use an Hourglass powder. Having my pores look good with foundation on just feels like such a far cry from where I've been recently. And now we're going to take the powder side and we'll apply it. I don't know that it's really a 1-for-1 color of the cream. I have been a little more opposed to like orangey blushes recently. There's something about this particular color, probably because it has like brown in it, that I'm like okay with. Like I'm enjoying the readiness of it in a way that I haven't really enjoyed like a terracotta blush in a while. I don't know. I like the finish of it. I do think I prefer this, but this is just like it's like night and day how much blush I'm wearing on both sides. I am gonna swatch these on my hand so you can see. Whenever I'm like forced to do like a warm tone look, and the last time I used like mucky colors on my eyes, it like really set me. I like didn't like it. It wasn't that I think that the look that I applied was bad, but like something about the colors like weren't meshing. But like this is all really happening. Oh, I feel like my skin looks good. Wow. I'm having a good time. Okay, let me swatch this for you. I don't think that the shades have different names, so it's just the cream and then also the powder. So the cream is on top. You can see there's like a little more red rosiness to it, and then I would say that the powder is a little orangier. This is what's happening on my face. The cream is underneath and then the powder is buffed on top, and that was done with a brush. But I did obviously a much heavier application on my face than that, but you could get it to look like that too if you were taking your time slowly building it, but we kind of went in full force. I do fear The Walking Dead that this lip color is not going to work with this look, but that was my choice. I built a warm look, and then I knew that we were coming to this. So the last thing everyone voted on was lip product, and I gave them the option of well, you might not know about this if you're not on Instagram, but CoverGirl sent me a bunch of matte liquid lipsticks, so I threw one of those up there. I also threw up End of sentence. I also threw up. I also added the option of one of the CoverGirl lip plumpers that I haven't put on my lips in a video yet. And then also put what was the last one? I really thought I could rattle these off the top of my head because I just did it. Oh, the Black Mob lipstick. You know what? I might actually override this. So the one that won was this from Ritual Defeat. I'm just not sure I'm going to be able to make it work, even though that there's like some cool sparkles in the eyes. I just like look at it next to the blush. It's a little bit much. So I think I am going to try the CoverGirl lipstick. I tried one of them once and it did not go well for me. I'm going to use the applicator in the product because that might have been part of the problem. We'll see. You were supposed to pick my makeup, and me choosing something else is overriding it. I also was not very clear about what this product was or why I bought it. So someone I know ran a small makeup store in Pittsburgh. They recently closed their doors, but when they closed their doors, everything was marked down a lot. And one of the things that was marked down was Ritual Defeat. I got it 50% off, and this is one of the lip sheers, and it's in the shade Water Violet. One thing I could do is take some brown lipsticks and apply this over top. Because this is a sheer, it would just add a little bit of coolness to that brown or whatever I put on my lips. But I just think that this would go a lot better, and I just want to apply this on camera. So this is from CoverGirl. This was sent to me NPR. This is their Outlast Forever Velvet Pigment, and it is a liquid lipstick. Now, I tried one of these before, and I do usually, whenever I'm testing makeup, use an applicator that's disposable so I can pass them on. This would be the shade that I would choose to pick if I were to keep any of them. So I feel comfortable just using this one directly on my lips. Because sometimes what I'm learning is that the applicator also matters. Like with those plumping glosses that CoverGirl sent me, using it with the applicator was a lot different than applying it with the disposable applicator. It was like there was like purpose in the applicator. It just applied a lot better with their applicator. Anyway, a lot of people were interested in this shade too whenever I posted about getting this in PR. I'll try applying this. And then maybe we'll apply this over top once it sets. There's still time. There's a possibility that we could get that on my lips. But I did override, and I apologize for that. Okay, so this was quite interesting. The formula is quite thin and sheer. I don't think it's supposed to be sheer, like it is a liquid lipstick, and I think it's supposed to be fully opaque. The first time I put it to my lips, it was like taking in some parts of my lips, but other parts of my lips, it was just kind of like pushing the product around, but like not really applying all the way. My bottom lip went a lot smoother, but it did take like 2 layers to get it to full opacity, and I do think this color is really pretty. It's sticky. It's like not as dry as I remember liquid lipsticks being. The feel of it is much less silicone-y than those, like the ones from Kaleidos. It is like a different formula from that. I do think that those apply a little bit better than this one applied, but I think the finish is like very, very similar. My lips feel really dry. Imagine. My lips really, really dry after applying it. Here's a hand swatch. It's still a little bit wet, but my lips are completely dry. That's a cool color. Like I like that color. It's a very interesting color for CoverGirl to have released. Now I did use one of the darker burgundy shades of this on my lips, and it was really patchy and like really hard to apply. This is not much deeper than my skin tone of my lips, so like this was a lot easier to apply. It's a little bit easier to hide a sin whenever a color is closer to your, it's not close to my lip color, but it's like closer to the depth of tone of my lips. Yeah, but I think it works with this look. I'm glad I chose this. I don't know how much of a liquid lipstick baddie I intend on being. I've been such just a glossy bee for the past 4 years, and it's just like to go back to something super opaque like this, it's just like not my wheelhouse. I do prefer the Trixie Cosmetics. It wasn't a liquid lipstick, but the bullet lipstick I got from them, I really like that. I don't really love this. So if I'm gonna choose like a matte formula, I think I'm gonna choose a bullet lipstick over a liquid. It's just it's like so much. Like you have to get into your face, you have to really apply it, and then you have to apply it a couple times. And I also don't know how this will wear, but I'm not really super interested in that. Now that it's like set more, the stickiness has gone away. But when you apply this, if you choose to buy this, I would say keep your lips apart while they're drying. That doesn't feel like you're gluing your lips together. I am getting butthole lip, but that's pretty common. I like the way it looks. I don't know. Like, I can't be too picky. This is just not something I would choose. I'm going to put the lip sheer on top because why not? I mean, I didn't really want to glide over top of it. This product is a drier product. I have another one of the lip sheers as well. So it didn't really want to go on top of it, but I made quite an interesting color. Basically, I made it like a rosewood nudie color on my lips. I didn't mind the ones from Kaleidos when I tried them, like the lip cloud clab clays. Damn it. I wasn't even doing that on purpose. I can't say that for the life of me. The lip lab Lip Cloud Lab Clays. Anyway, those clay-y ones, those really silicone-y clay ones, I think I like that a little bit more than the experience of putting that on. And I don't know, what was another liquid lipstick I've tried? I just feel like I haven't tried a liquid lipstick in a long time. We're done. Let's do a quick recap. So the Fantasy Cosmetica, I do want to try doing a smoky eye with this. I might just post that look on Instagram if I do it. But what I will say, and this could be the Pixie Epoxy, I'm still like learning the Pixie Epoxy. I don't know, it looks like it's starting to want to crease, but like something's getting... Maybe it's like the blue sparkles or the sparkles on top are like gathering in the crease of my eye already. Pigment hasn't disappeared. I'll try it with NYX glitter glue. I'm much more comfortable using the NYX glitter glue, but sometimes with like these wet look shadows, creasing can happen even relatively quickly. So TBD on that. This brought it back into my zeitgeist, like made me think about it a little bit more. So I do want to make an effort to like try to use that a little bit. The Farah Hamidi, let's see. Let me look at my under eyes. They're a little bit of a mess from the mascara, but that's not the concealer. So there's a lot of glitter in it too from the eyeshadow, which I don't think is the eyeshadow's fault. I was like blending shimmer on top of shimmer. So I'm just going to give the eyeshadow a little bit of grace, but I do have some like small glitter fallout, but the glitter particles are so small. I really can't see them until I'm getting close to my eye. Yeah, I think my under eyes look okay. I don't know what is going on. This mascara is like, it's just betrayed me today. It doesn't normally act like this, but I have some like black flaking under my eye. Something weird is happening here. I don't know what that is. I think that the concealer's downfall is the mascara, not the concealer itself. My under eyes look okay. They don't look the best they've ever looked, but they don't look the worst. But they look better than they have in the past when I've used the Farah Hamidi. So thank you again, Marco. We'll get this out of the way because I just grabbed it. The Décolleté highlighter is really pretty. Hourglass. I think it looks really good. It's right now. I do think that my oily skin will make this maybe look a little bit messy after an hour or two of wear. But I like the way it's looking right now. It took to powder well. It has a nice finish for me right now. So I think I'm into it. Certainly I'm excited to play with it again. But, you know, what does that say about me? Bronzer in M80 from Mob. Great. I mean, you really can't see it with all the blush that I put on today, but it applies great. I really like it. The Glam and Matrix blush. I wasn't sure if I would like care about this at all, just because like I think there was a time in my life where I thought all browns were equal whenever it came to brown blush, but like some of them can lean a little bit orange, and I do feel like this has a little bit of that warmth to it. I like the cream better than I like the powder. I think both in formula and color when it came to this. I do like the overall effect, and I think that they went together really well and made a color together that was really, really appealing. It's really great. I do like it. I do like it. Let me talk about the packaging of this. This is hard to open because this is my first time showing this on camera. I have trouble opening them. I don't really have dexterity issues. It is like a clicking mechanism, clicks shut. I can't just really open it. It's like hard to open just by brute force. I do find that I normally have to like poke a nail or something in there to open it up. And when I first got them, they were very hard to open. So just be aware of that. And they're kind of small, and there's no ridges to grab onto to open other than this indented ridge. So just for your information, in case you were interested in that. This would be the color of the three that they sent me that I think would be the most appealing to you and me. But they also sent me like a burgundy one and a bubblegum pink one. And I'll give them all a try. But I'm very impressed. I wasn't expecting it to look so skin-like, I guess. I feel like it became one with my skin pretty well. When it came to the lipstick, it's a liquid lipstick. It's on my lips. And I don't think it looks worse. It doesn't look bad, but my lips look dry. You can see all of the lines and crinkles in my lips, but it did what it was supposed to do. You're either going to be into liquid lipstick or you're not. I'm just not very into liquid lipsticks. And then this is also a very dry formula, but I really like the color of this. I will have to apply it because a lot of you were interested in it, either in a short to give it its own time in the sun or in a different video. Or I think I've had it on my lips in a video, but I don't think I like applied it in a video. I used it as like a topper. But on top of this, it kind of did something. It kind of a serve. And that's it. That's the video. I hope you enjoyed choosing my makeup. We'll do this again for sure. I'll do a Google form next time so everyone can participate. And I will do it further in advance so that everyone will have more time to vote. There are a couple things I'm like ready to film almost, but like I didn't want to do because they were going to be a big task. And I just finished that mob video. And sometimes I just need a break after like a video that I put a lot of effort into where I'm like, I just want no thoughts, just easy. videos. And so I came up with this concept. I'm certainly not the first person to do this. And I was like, we'll do it today. So the voting time was very short on this poll. But so we'll do a poll that's like a little bit longer. I'll give you like a week to vote on it, so that we can put a look together. But I'll probably do the same thing, choose like 4 things each. Anyway, that's gonna wrap up the video. I'm just gonna shut up now. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new to my channel, hi, welcome. I would love to have you subscribe. I try to keep my channel more focused on loving the makeup that I already have rather than spending money on new makeup, but I do occasionally do reviews and I do get products to review. And I try to be as honest as I can whenever I do discuss that makeup that I'm getting in PR and buying for review. But you don't need any new makeup, but some people are interested in new things and I like to provide that information if I can. If you want to hear more about that, I would love to have you stick around. I'm on Patreon and I have channel memberships over there. I do one additional video every month. It doesn't matter at what level you support me on Patreon or channel memberships. Everyone gets the same one video each month. It's like, if you want to join, you can, but if you don't, no worries. I'm so happy that you are here commenting, liking, and sharing my content. That's the best way to support me or any other content creator. There will also be a pinned comment down below. In that pinned comment, I will have some links to support people in Gaza and links to help people who were recently affected by the LA fires, and then also a link to support Sisters Pittsburgh. Sisters Pittsburgh is a Black trans-led organization that helps trans people in Pittsburgh find housing and other resources that they might need. So if you have the wherewithal to support any of those causes, please feel free. I will also have linked down there 5calls.org, which is an organization that is putting together small scripts so that you can call your representatives in the government and tell them what you are and are not liking, specifically are not liking about what's going on in the government right now. So if you have some time to make some calls, please do that. And if you get a little bit of fear talking to people in person, just wait till the office is closed and do the calls, because that's what I normally do, because I'm not really good at the one-on-one interaction, and I understand, but these calls are important. So please do that if you have the wherewithal to do that. That one, I mean, it's free as long as you have a phone, so you could do that. And it's also important about the downfall of democracy that's happening all around us. I'm on page, no, I already did that. Okay, that's it. That's the video. Bye. Remember to follow your haute and you'll find me, and I'll see you in a video very, very soon. Go forth. It's out.